Hi guys, it's Belle here and I'm coming on to share with you a fun new challenge I am taking part in the month of March. It is the Spring Around Ephemera Challenge. That's the hashtag. Just pause the video here if you want to take that information. And what it basically is there are 7 of us creators here on YouTube who are taking part in we're making ephemera for journals every day in the month of March, all inspired by this prompt list. I will leave the details down below. I believe you can get both the prompt list and the schedule from Pinkoddbird's website and Release the Craftin's website so that you can download and take part in. I'll explain more about that later. So basically, it is April from Pinkoddbird, Laurie from Terrific Tombs, me, Kim from Serene Bookworks, Cindy from Studio Lou, Shayna, SB Artistry, and Priscilla, Release the Craftin. And every day in March, one of us will be making a piece of ephemera, videoing it so that you can have a go at that yourself, inspired by these prompts. And if you don't know what a spring hop is, I did do a video a few years ago where we did something similar but on a much smaller scale. I will leave that video in the links down below. But basically, each day someone will be uploading their video for the day with that inspiration. They will then link the person who's coming up the next day in their description box, and you hop over to that video. And you will be hopping all through the month of March throughout our channels to get the inspiration. So yes, a spring around, a spring hop, whatever you want to call it, but yes, so this is what it is. We're trying to use up our scraps. We're encouraging you to use up your scraps as much as possible. There will be lots of different inspiration. Please guys, check everyone out. These are some amazing creators, and I'm sure you will find inspiration in what they are creating. Again, I will leave all the links down below. If you do take part in this challenge, use this hashtag here both on YouTube and on Instagram. If you do every single day, all 31 days, you will be entered with a prize, with a chance to win a prize. There will be more information about that later in the month as the month goes on. But yes, please follow along. Join in if you would like, and don't forget there is a prize to be won. So I think that's all the details. So my prompt today is the 3rd of March, so it's my first. I've got 4 to do, and my prompt was tulips. So I made this. What we're going to be making, guys, we're going to be making these window envelope journal tuck spots. That's what we are going to be making. So for this you will need window envelopes, you will need scrap papers from scrapbooks, from digitals, whatever you have, book pages. You will need stamps, but I am going to show you how to do it with a stencil as well if you do not have a tulip stamp. You will need some tea bag papers. If you do not have tea bag papers, there are other things you can use, which I will tell you about when we're doing the video. You will need some inks, some glue, and some fabric if you want some fabric. So that is what you're going to need, guys. So let's get straight into it. Let me just show you quickly what this is. So it's using a window envelope. You pull it out. This is what we're going to be making. Journaling spots on the backs and this inside. I made one of these earlier in the year for a journal I was working on, and I know this probably isn't an original idea. I haven't seen anything exactly like this, and it's just something I kind of created sort of while I was making this journal. Anyway, let's get started. So we're going to start with the window envelope. Doesn't even have to be in perfect condition because we are, as you can see, going to cut it down to size. So I'm going to get my guillotine I do not have exact measurements because it really depends on how big you want it and how big your stamp piece is. You don't want the edges too wide because you want the main focus. See, that's not even straight. Let's get it not straight, but there you go. You want the main focus on the actual image in the middle, guys. So here we go, and you know, I've left it open like this because it's going to make it a lot easier to work in. Now you've got that, so we'll deal with the rest of that in a minute. What you then need is some it can be card, it can be sort of lightweight scrapbook card or paper. I would advise getting it more of a plain background. You could, as I've done with this one, use a slightly busier background and then gesso it to make it able to write on, but a plainer, paler coloured background works best, I've found. I'm just going to measure it up, guys. Very rough. Everything I'm doing is just by eye. So you want to cut this piece of card, because this is going to be the inside piece, slightly smaller than the envelope piece itself. And the reason for that is that when you stitch, as I'm going to, though you don't have to, when you either stitch or glue around it, you want it to be able to slide in and out easily. Let's just trim that top bit off and then I can show you. You want it to be able to slide in and out easily without catching on the stitching. So do you see how I've got a nice border around 3 of the sides? Top side doesn't matter so much because that's going to have a bit of fabric on it as a tab anyway. So we've cut this bit out, but we're going to put it to the side for the moment. And now we're going to work on the tea bag on here. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm not actually going to put it, you can stick it down straight away and ink onto it, which is what I did with this one, which gives you really bright background, a brighter background, whereas this is more muted because obviously the white paper underneath also gets dye on it, ink on it. But we're just going to do it this way, so excuse me while I get my messy mat. And as I said, you can use a stamp. That's exactly what I've used here. I've just stamped the image on, but I'm going to show you how to do it without a stamp if you don't have one. You might have a stencil. I've already done it on here, as you can see. We're going to turn it that way. And what you need is an ink pad that doesn't run with water, isn't going to react to water. So I'm using my Stays On Jet Black. I'm just going to ink it up, and then I'm going to press really firmly and really get that ink pad into all those little pieces. So yeah, a stamp is the best idea, but I just wanted to show you it also if you've got a stencil. Really get it in there. Okay, let's cover this up, and there you go. There is your tulip with a stencil. I will just put one on a piece of tea bag paper here with a stamp so that you can see the difference. I'm just going to ink this stamp up. This is an old stamp I've got. I think it's from Anna Griffin years ago. But yeah, so again, you would center it, press it down, hold it for a few seconds so that the paper, because obviously tea bag paper can be quite porous. Really press it down, and there you go. So that's the difference. A stamped one. Let's get some white paper so you can really see. A stamped image and stenciled with ink like stays on. So I'm going to use this one. Have a look at the size window you're using as well. For a thinner envelope, like this stamped image goes really well with a much thinner window. This is a thicker one, so this is going to work really well in it. So now what we're going to do is get our inks, guys. So I have mustard seed distress ink, worn lipstick, and peacock feathers. Just use what you've got. The first time I made one of these, so I'm just putting it down, just spraying it. The first time, this has got some green on there too, so it will pick up some of that colour. I don't mind. Oh, yes, that's nice. Right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you a minute because I've got to use my heat gun. Okay, so here we go, guys. It's dried. So now we're going to use pink. I realised the bluey green was on here because I was using my Brusho crystals yesterday. So we're just going to do the exact same thing, but with this beautiful worn lipstick. And I'm just dabbing it on. I don't want it over the whole thing. Firstly, you're not going to see it over the whole thing because we're going to cut it and trim it down. And again, just use what inks you have in your stash that you want to work with. Again, I'm going to pause you while I just dry this. And I'm back. And finally, we're going to use a bit of this blue, which, you know, we've already got some of this green anyway on here from the Brusho crystals I was using yesterday. And I'm just going to pick it up, have it all over. And then, again, going to pause you while I dry. Okay, I'm back, guys. So here's what it looks like right now. Let's back that. That's not a piece, but you're just going to see the colours on there. If you do not have tea bags, I do because I drink a lot of herbal teas. If you do not have tea bags, I would say that anything of this kind of fabric or texture, like I think sewing paper would work really well for this. It needs to be able to hold colour because obviously you're inking. The great thing about tea bags is that even though they're quite thin and delicate, they're also actually really strong because obviously when they're in a teacup, they're holding in all the all the tea bags. I'm on a craft. They're holding in all the tea bags. And so they have to maintain, they're thin but strong is what I'm saying. Anyway, even when wet. So now I'm just going to glue this on here. I'm just using my glue stick. You can use Mod Podge to varnish over the top. For speed, right now, I'm using a glue stick. Do what feels right to you and what you have. Again, it's whatever you have to hand. And now I'm going to put this on here. We're going to try and center it. Oh, just put glue all over my fingers. We're going to try and center it on here. That will do. Because obviously I need to be able to see it through the window. So you should be able to, yeah. And I'm just going to use a bone folder that I've got to gently, very gently, guys. These may be strong, but also you don't want to be putting giant holes in them when you've got this far. To gently then work out all the creases and bubbles as much as possible. I don't mind some creases because it gives it a bit of character, but you don't want giant bubbles because as you're pulling it in and out, it will just catch on the envelope. So yeah, just do that. Looks like that now. And then I'm going to trim this off for speed. And we're going to leave that to dry whilst we do the rest of the envelope. So the first time I made one of these was actually for a more sort of grungy journal. And so it wasn't spring colours at all. It was more naturals. But I just thought it worked really well. So we're going to put that to one side to dry because I'm going to round the corners, and my corner rounder works better when it's not damp. So we're going to grab some of these papers. These are a mix. This was from a digital kit I purchased ages ago called Taking Flight. I can't remember who created it, but I will leave the links to it down below. So we're just going to get started. I like to put something on the top here that I can fold over so that it's got more strength on top. So let's just use some of this purple paper. It doesn't have to be exact because I quite like it when you can sort of see it on the other side. I like that effect. So I don't want it right up here. And I'm going to kind of trim this now just a little bit. I can cut the rest off in a minute. I'm not going to ink around it, which normally I would do, but no, I'm not going to ink around it at the moment. I'm just going to do this. So again, I'm sure many of you have done this kind of thing where you're making collaged pieces with window envelopes, but you know. And then I'm going to fold that over. Hopefully you can see. So I'm going to go to this line and I'm going to fold it over. So it just strengthens that piece, a bone folder, so that when you're pulling your journaling card in and out, I'm going to trim, use my glue scissors. These are the ones I use for anything that's still got glue on it, so it doesn't ruin my good scissors. Yeah, when you're pulling your journaling card in and out, you want that piece to just be a little bit more secure and not as flimsy. And also what I meant to say is if you've got pieces like this in your envelope, which you will have, glue those down because your journaling card is going to get stuck in them. Another thing you could use is you could glue washi across there just to make it extra secure. Okay, and I'm going to do the same on this side now. I'm just going to use something to cover on that side. I just want plainer colours on top, if I'm honest. I don't really know where this paper was from. Just paper I have in my stash. And that's the whole point. Use up some of your scraps, guys. Again, I'm just going to put it up like that. Going to roughly trim this bit. And we're going to glue. So I hope you've been following along. This is day 3. So you would have seen 2 other videos before this one and hopefully hopped along to here. Yeah, I hope you've been following along. I can't wait to see, because none of us have told each other what we're making. So I can't wait to see what everyone's come up with. It's always really worrying doing challenges like this because it's really hard to come up with things. Especially anything kind of, I suppose, not being seen before. Where's my glue scissors? But either way, it doesn't matter because we're all different creators. So even if we made the same thing, we'd all make it slightly differently. So there you go. So that's the top and that done. And now we can start going around the edges and gluing those down. Now I like a bit of decoration down the bottom. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this down here. Just rip that. And then also, where's my ruler? Just rip it down the side. So yeah, I like just a little bit of decor down the bottom. Not a lot because, you know, I'm going to decorate with other bits too. let's do that. Yeah, that's going to go there a little bit, maybe not quite so high. So it's going to go there. And then I might have that wrap around a little bit. But I want some pieces along here first. So that's going at the bottom. And we've got this piece that I like. Going for really spring colours. These are not my usual colours. As any of you who've followed me for a while will know, this is just not my usual vibey colour palette at all. But it's always fun to do something a bit different, a bit outside your comfort zone. So that's going to go like that. And I have that there, and then that's going to go around the edge just to give that a bit of strength. Let's glue this. So yeah, I did, with the one I made for the grungy journal, I actually made my own Lino Cut Stamp. And when I saw that it said tulips, I thought, oh, I could have a go at making a tulip stamp. That'd be fun. So I attempted several. Of tulip stamps. They just didn't work out. Let's see how that looks. Oh yes, that looks so pretty like that. I think I want this one to go over the top of this. So I'm going to glue that on now. Yeah, they just didn't work out. And so I ended up looking through my stash, and I thought I'd found several tulip stamps, only to discover, after making a prototype, it was actually a crocus stamp. Very embarrassing, considering I have those in my garden. So yeah, but I did find a stamp, and then I found the stencil, and I thought, oh, okay, that'll work just as well. So yeah, so now we're literally just decoupage in the front. I really like this one. I've used this on the other ones too, but I just really like the way this looks. So I don't want it all the way down. Want it up a bit more, want it down a bit more. Up a bit more, I think. Yeah. So I ended up using the stencil. Hold on a minute, guys. Sorry, back. There was just something I had to do there. Yeah, so I ended up trying with the stamp that I had and the stencil. And I've actually done it another way as well, which I will show you at the end. So I'm going to just put that there. It's whatever you feel looks right to you. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not going to fill this bit, because as you will see in a minute, this is where I'm going to put my paper to be able to write on. But I do just want another little piece down here. So maybe just some of this pink would be quite nice. Again, it's whatever you feel works for you. And whatever scraps you have. Hold on a minute, guys. Sorry, back again. Okay, yeah, so as I was saying, it's whatever you what works for you, whatever colour palette. We are doing everything spring themed, so I thought I would go through, there's a big glob of glue there, I don't need that. I would go through my spring papers that I have, because I've been doing a big clear out, a big tidy of my craft and reorganisation. Right, I'm just going to trim that. Again, glue scissors. Don't want to use my good scissors for that. And yeah, I came across all these spring papers and I thought, oh, that's going to be perfect. Absolutely perfect. So as I said, we've left that bit because we are going to put a scrap there. Let me get my scrap bag. It's my big bag full of scraps. These are my plain scraps. we are going to put a piece of paper there. That actually looks quite nice. It's not very springy though, is it? It's more gothic-y. Ooh, I have this one. This is some of my hand-dyed paper. Is there two there? That's really thick. I wonder what that paper was. And that would go really nicely. I'm going to tear the bottom, but I don't need the rest torn. Okay, that was easy, guys. That was easy to find. Let's get rid of this page from the blue book. Yeah, so use whatever scrap of paper you want. If you didn't want it to be a journaling spot on the back, you could add a pocket to the back, which would also look really nice, but you could still have a writing spot on the back and still, as a big glob of glue again, and still put a pocket on the back. So I'm going to put that up, that there, and then again, let's just use my bone folder to make sure this is stuck down. Now you will see there's still an opening here. There's still an opening here, and this isn't, oh, that needs more glue. No, it doesn't actually. This doesn't need to be completely stuck down because I am going to stitch. If you are gluing all the way, then I'd make sure this is more secure, maybe wrap more over the edges there. That's what I would do, but because I'm going to stitch, I'm not too worried about that. I'm just wondering if I want another scrap of this somewhere, like here. Just put it over. Do you know what? I quite like that, so I'm just going to do that. That's not what I was going to do, but it is now, and that's okay. So when you see something and you want to use that tiny piece up instead of wasting it. Okay, so that's most of the envelope, the collagey bit of the envelope done now. And now we're going to go back to this. Now, first thing to do is make sure that it fits in now that it's been closed. And that does. That fits really nicely in there. And you can see that it just peeks out of the window. And now this is drier, I'm going to round the edges. And the reason, just want to make sure, even if it's a stitch, I'm going to use a straight stitch, so it should be fine. The reason I'm rounding the edges, guys, is because, one, I think it gives your journaling card a more kind of professional finished look. I like it. And secondly, that bit didn't cut off. And secondly, when you're putting it in and out of the pocket, I just find rounded edges mean it's less likely to catch and for something to happen to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you because I'm going to stitch. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to stitch around this, and then when I come back, we'll do the rest. Okay guys, I'm back. Okay, so if you do stitch, or even if you just glue, once you've done that, what I suggest you do, because I've made this boo-boo a couple of times, is make sure that your journaling card fits in. And if it doesn't, I mean, this fits fine. There you go. If it doesn't, trim it down. But do that before you put anything on the top, so that if you are rounding the corners, you can just do that. Now I've got this bag of scraps because I'm going to put a fabric, quite like that. It goes with these colours, but not so much the spring ones. I'm going to put some, just a fabric tab on top, just using the scraps that I have. I mean, that's quite nice, and that would go quite well. Why is this proving to be the hardest piece? Oh, I've got this actually that's already like a collagey bit, and I could cut that down. That would actually work really nicely. So let's do that. Let's trim this down a bit so that I can then put it on top. There you go. That's why you should keep a bag of scraps, guys, because you never know what you're going to find that would work. So that is going to go on there. Now you could staple it. I'm going to quickly stitch this. So just... just hold on. Right, I'm back. I know I keep stopping and starting, guys, but my sewing machine is huge and noisy, and so is my heat gun, and I really don't want you guys to have to listen to that. So there we go. I've just stitched that on. You could ink around the edge. I'm not going to. Again, Mod Podge over the top of it. Again, I'm not going to. I don't feel the need to. And that is going to go in there. So you've got your journaling card and you've got your basic base. See, that just pops out. I like that. So now, just as I've done with, oh gosh, I need to put these in here. Just as I've done with these envelopes, I've got a little sentiment down the bottom. So we are going to do, we're going to get a little sentiment and just put it down the bottom along there. So I have this, where is it? Stamp set. It was from a magazine ages ago, but it's all spring related, and until doing this challenge, I hadn't actually used it. How bad is that? How many of us have brought things like that and we just haven't used it? So again, I'm going to get a little scrap of paper for this to just put this on. I like the paper to be plainer because we've got so much colour going on. But I just want it to be a bit plainer and also big enough. You see, now that's quite nice. I think it's just the paper off an envelope, but I think that works quite well. So that's what we're going to use. Okay, so let's do it. I quite like the brown of it. So let's stamp this on. Again, I'm just using my StazOn. You could emboss this. I'm not doing that. Wrong way round. Let's get the stamp the right way round. That would help, wouldn't it? I'm just going to press that down. So yeah, you could put any sentiment there. I just want to use a spring one because this is spring around ephemera making challenge. So if we're going to do springish colours, let's go all out and use as much spring stuff as possible. So that's a bit wide, so I'm going to rip that a bit more. And yeah, that's just going to go along there. The others I've inked around the images, but do you know what? I don't even know if I want that inked around. I think I kind of like it. So I'm holding it up to look where I want it placed. I think I like it further up, even though it covers up most of those flowers. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to spend too long doing this. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And let me know if you're joining in with everyone. And if you're going to take part in the Spring Around Ephemera Challenge. Oh, I really like that brown on there. So make sure that's pressed down. Now again, like the other ones, I've used buttons. So let's grab some buttons. Oh, and I know what else I haven't put on there. These have all got some of this ribbon. This is paper ribbon that I have had for an absolute age. I mean, I can't even tell you how long I've had this. It's literally that long. See, that's so pretty. I really like that one, even though I've used it before. It's paper ribbon. I think these ones are Anna Griffin. As I was saying, I've been sorting through all my craft stuff, which, considering the small area that I have, is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. And I'm just going to put that down the side because I like it. I like the contrast that it gives it. You see, I've used it here. And with these ones, I've also used it across the top just to give it a finished look. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here as well. I'm just going to cut that because I don't want the white bit. But as I was going through all my craft stuff, I got rid of... oh, look, that's the end of that. I got rid of so much stuff, guys. I mean, I used to mainly do card making and scrapbooking. And plus our sort of styles and tastes change. got rid of so much stuff. But on the plus, I have found a lot of stuff that I either forgot I had or that I'm interested in using again, like these paper ribbons that are already sticky, so that's good. And everything's a lot more organized. I can put my hands on everything that I need. And yeah, I think that just adds a finishing touch to the back, along the top and down the side. So yeah, these are just paper ribbons. You could use normal ribbons, you could use more paper, you don't have to use anything at all. And now I'm going to pull one of my button drawers. This is my use it up where I have it drawer, because I also have my vintage buttons in another section. Oh, that's quite cute. But I want it all at hand so I can grab it a lot easier. I mean, we've got these, which is kind of what I used on the other ones. I've got a blue one. Oh, I've just thrown a button at myself. Could do a large white one, and then I want another colour. Got yellow. No, a pink would be nice, I think. But no, that's too much pink. Okay, maybe a green. Oh, I've got this little flower one. That's really cute. Doesn't go very well though. Okay, so I'm just pulling. Okay, I think they work, so I'm going to put this back. Yeah, this is my use it up, but I found buttons everywhere, all over the place. So they're not my vintage buttons, which are in a special other area that has in a vintage tin. So I'm just gluing those down, because obviously I've already attached everything else, so it's easier to glue them. Ah, come back. It's too fiddly, guys. It reminded me of Tiddlywinks then. Did you guys used to play that game? Anyway, so I've put the buttons on in. They've obviously still got to dry, but there we go. So here's the ones I made earlier. This is the crocus one. This is the one with the stamp that I showed you earlier. This stamp. And then this is one that's using the stencil. Where'd the stencil go to? Using the stencil through with ink. So that's what they look like. I also made one. Really like how these look. I was going to show you them in a journal. Hold on, I will grab a journal quickly. Ooh, there we go. So this was a journal that was made for me for my birthday a couple of years ago by a friend. Actually, the friend who got me into junk journaling. She doesn't have an Etsy. She doesn't have a shop or anything like that. I don't even know if she still makes a lot of journals. I don't think she does. I'm just trying to find a page. So let's just take this page. So what I would say is you would use it either, you could use it either as a tuck spot like that. You could glue it on 3 sides and have it as another envelope. So in that case, you wouldn't have to decorate the back at all. Or the way I was thinking of using it, which is how I used it in my other journal, is just attach it with a clip or something, with a dangle, and that way it can be taken out of the journal and written on, and it can be moved around the journal as you want. So these are the ones I made, but then I also had a go at making one from Edith Holden paper. This one also turned out, look at the back, there was another piece that I found to my scraps that's got like ink and everything. This also turned out really beautiful, and I used a wooden butterfly here. And with this one, I didn't use a stamp. So if you don't have a stamp, you don't have to worry. What I used was, oh gosh, let me find it. I had a vintage, this is from like a 1930s book or something. This is vintage illustrations, which is just beautiful, and it had a tulip one. I thought it worked so well. And in this one, instead of using any ink, I've just put Edith Holden book page behind and then put the tea bag straight over the top. No inking, nothing else. Put the image on. I had this nice grey background on this window envelope that I just felt really well. Went really well. And yeah, I had it says April, which, you know, springtime. I think this one's really beautiful. It's really pretty. And then, yeah, you have these ones. So yeah, you can have a go at different ones. You can use stamps, you can use images, you can use a stencil. I wanted to show you how to use a stamp, inks and tea bag papers. So yeah, let me know what you think down below, guys. Let me know if you're going to join in. Let me know which is your favorite stamping, stenciling or illustrations. And don't forget to hop along. The next person who will be doing a video that's coming up on the 4th of March is Kim from Serene Bookworks. I will leave the link to her video down below. I will also leave the link to everyone else's YouTube channels down near the bottom. But it's Kim, that's the person you hop along to next to see what she's going to come up with, which should be great. And I will be back with the second of my 4 videos next Thursday. So I will have a video going up every Thursday for this spring hop for March. Yeah, so let me know what you think down below, guys. And again, like I said, use the hashtag spring around 22 if you're going to follow along. And again, if you're going to join in, and if you do every single day, so that's 31 pieces of ephemera, then don't forget to do the hashtag so that we can follow and we can see. Tag us if you're doing one of our pieces. And don't forget, there will be a chance to win something if you do all 31 days. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I still find craft with me is a little bit intimidating and stressful, but this was fun to do and I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you for watching, guys. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having lots of crafty fun, and I will be back again very soon. Until then, bye, guys.